Angelina Jolie's sexiest R-rated thriller is a violent, wicked romance. What do you get when you pair Angelina Jolie with one of the sexiest leading men in Hollywood? Mr. and Mrs. Smith with Brad Pitt. But that's not her sexiest movie. Gone in 60 Seconds with Nicolas Cage is another good guess. The answer is 2001's Original Sin with Antonio Banderas. A historical romance that would fit right in with today's new wave of bodice rippers. This 19th century bodice ripper is currently streaming for free on Tubi. Original Sin is a romance novel come to life. Set in Cuba, Original Sin starts off as most historical romances do. Luis Banderas, a rich landowner, wants a wife, and no one in Cuba will do. He's been writing letters to Julia Jolie, a young woman living in Delaware, who's on her way to Cuba for their first face-to-face meeting. Julia looks nothing like the photos she sent, and Luis has also been lying about being a poor clerk. From the get-go, the two are madly in love with each other. Even as they agree neither one is to be trusted. Luis thinks it's a bit of a jest, not knowing that Julia is an imposter. They get married that day, consummate the marriage that night, and the next morning. Julia soon gets access to all of Luis' wealth as a sign of his trust as her plan comes to fruition. Until Detective Downs, Thomas Jane, arrives on the island. And now the early scene of Julia narrating the story to a priest from inside a prison cell starts to make sense. Thankfully, that's only the start of Original Sin's twisted love story, the best historical romance of the 2000s. There's a reason romance is the most popular genre in every bookstore. Original Sin is 25 years old, but the story it tells is timeless. Attractive people doing bad things to each other is the bedrock of Hollywood. Erotic thrillers, historical romance. Those films have mainly migrated to streamers with most of the sex scenes stripped out. Original Sin is from long before that trend started. And yet, both Banderas and Jolie look stunning in their period garb both in and out of the bedroom. Unlike other thrillers, this book adaptation, based on the 1947 Cornell Woolrich novel, Waltz into Darkness, remembered to make the story and characters as appealing as the stars themselves. The problem with Original Sin is that everyone is playing their roles with all the subtlety of a soap opera, which led critics and viewers at the time to rip it apart with negative reviews. Critics went after the dialogue and the plot for being unbelievable, likely because they hadn't opened up a romance novel in decades. A bodice ripper, an erotic thriller, a historical romance. Original Sin is all three of them, and fans of all of those want the type of wild fantasy romance that lets them get swept up and carried away. Original Sin isn't the best movie for either Antonio Banderas or Angelina Jolie. Those are Mask of Zorro and Mr. and Mrs. Smith, respectively, but among their thrillers, it's untouched. Every single campy trope you'd want is found in its under 2-hour runtime. There's nothing wrong with turning off your brain and enjoying gorgeous stars acting out a telenovela against the beautiful backdrop of 19th century Cuba, and thanks to Tubi, it's a free experience.